Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. The topic for today is going to be lambda function, and lambda is super important because lambda is pretty much used in your daily life as a Python programmer. Also, from interview perspective, this is most asked interview question on a beginner or an intermediate level. So let's stay with me till the end of this video, and I'll make sure I am going to show you like 5 to 6 example hands on with explanation, and I'm going to run those example and you will be pretty much end to end clear with the lambda function by the end of this video. So just stay with me till the end of that, and without wasting your time, let me take you forward. So guys, let's start with some basic theory and then we'll move to the examples here. So this is my VS Code Studio, and you will be able to download this lambda.python file, which will be there on my GitHub account, and you can download it from the description box. So no need to worry, you will be able to get this whole workbook with your system, and you can open this in your system and you can run all these codes with this explanation. Okay. So that is a target that I'll be sharing this with you guys. Now let's start with the theory first. So let's quickly work on it. Now, the name of the function is lambda. Okay. What does it signify? Okay. It is an anonymous function. What is anonymous? Anonymous is which does not have a specified name. That's why we are calling it a lambda. So there was a function which we wanted to create to help the user defined functions, which can be called anonymous, and it can be used for multiple purpose. Okay. Now this is a single line function defined using the lambda keyword. As I told you, lambda is a keyword which is used with the anonymous function, and Python understand with the name of this. Now it can have any number of input argument, but only one expression. Okay. What is the expression? I'll tell you in a while. So here you can see there is an expression. I'll explain it to you now. So which is evaluated and returned. So expression will either be evaluated or it will return a value to your function. Whenever you use the return keyword, I told you just before this video that there is a return keyword which is heavily used. Now lambda functions are often used to short throwaway operations, making code basics concise. So one very important things, for very long functions you cannot use lambda. It is not recommended, I would say. So don't write lambda function for a very big operation which you want to perform, but obviously it can support you in your day-to-day task when you want to calculate some quick things, and it would be much more time saver compared to writing some difficult and long user defined codes. Now let's talk about 5 key characteristics about lambda function. Now number 1, what is the syntax? Obviously, so lambda as a keyword, then the argument, then the expression. In a while you'll understand what is argument, what is expression. Now lambda do not have a name, often used where functions are required temporarily, not for a permanent function, because it does not have a name. Like for example, if I define def sum, now this is a defined function, some function I can call it anywhere in my code, in somebody else's code, even other programmer in my team can use it, right? But lambda cannot work like that. Now third point, useful with higher order functions like map, filter and reduce. So this is again a very important pointer. In a while I am going to share with you like how map, filter and reduce are working and why they are called higher order functions. So in this session I have taken like 6 example of lambda, and I have heavily used map, filter and reduce, all of them, because they are very important for your interviews. Okay. Interviews perspective is also covered in this video, because I was thinking from that perspective that interview should be cracked with this lambda whole video. Okay. Now fourth key point is it can be assigned to a variable or passed directly as an argument. Both ways are good. Now fifth is limited to a single expression. Okay. It can be only a single expression, no multiple operations, or multi-line functionality is not provided with lambda. Now so these are the basics. Okay. So couple of confusions will be there in your mind. Now I will clear all those confusion with some practical example rather than just going through the theory. Now let me remove all this whatever I have written, and let's move forward to the first example for the day. Now I want to write a function to calculate the square of a number. If I want to do that with a user defined function, how I will do that? First I will define a function name, then I will give a parameter, let's say num, then I will write the return statement. I want to calculate the square, so let's say I will give num multiply by num, and then I will call it, and then I will pass basically the number. So these 4-line code can be converted to 2-line of code here if you see using lambda. So what I'm writing, this is the name of the functions directly. Name of the function is square equal to lambda as a keyword, x is what? Now if we go up, I told you the syntax. So argument and expression. Now if you see here, which one is the argument? Which one is the argument? This x is your argument, and this is your expression. Let me highlight it. This is the argument, and these two, this is your expression, which is basically calculating the value. Okay. Now on that note, let me try to run this piece of code. So in this particular code, I am passing 5 as a x value or as a parameter, whatever you want to say it. So this 5 will be passed to lambda function, and this x will be given the value of 5 multiplied by 5. Okay, just you need to make sure and remember one thing when you are understanding the syntax. So argument is something which will be calculated later, okay, and expression is something which we would be where the value of parameter will be used. So that's what happening. This is your expression. Expression will use 5 multiplied by 5, and this will assign the value to the argument which will be printed later. So now I select these 2 line of code and I run this simply using shift enter in VS Code editor. So I can see that 25 is my answer. So congratulations guys, you got your lambda function correct. Now this is the first example of lambda function. Let's move forward. Now I want to write a function to calculate the sum of 2 numbers. Now how I'll do that? The name of the function equal to lambda x and y. What is this? These are your argument. Now these your expression, because you want to calculate the sum of these 2 numbers. So it's important that you pass the value in argument whatever you are giving in the expression. Now I give a print, call the function inside the print and give the value to your expression. Now x is equal to 10, y is equal to 25. Now when I select and run these 2 line of code, so you can see the message is printed. What is the message? That okay, there is something wrong. I did print. The code seems to be fine. Let me run the code again. Okay, so everything is correct. Let me select these 2 line and run this again. Okay guys, so we can see the output as 25. I think there was some glitch on the session. Sometimes this happens, okay, so that's okay. Now this is the second example we covered. Now let's move on to a bit complex example which is going to give you much more about map, reduce and lambda and other things which I told you, like. So now I want to create a function double each number in a list. Like I want to double the number. Like now this is my list numbers and the elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now before I write something, so what is map? Obviously, okay. Now it is a higher order function, is used in a Python built-in function that apply a given function to all item in a input iterable. So this map function is going to apply all the elements whatever I am going to give. So in this case the iterable is your number. Okay, this is the number, this is your iterable, and the function being applied to this whole expression. This is your expression. And what I am doing on line number 26, now let me explain it. Okay, I have given you the background of map. Now what I am doing, I am just giving a lambda expression where what I am doing, I am giving the x power 2. What does that mean? 1 to power 2 is 1, 2 to power 2 is 4, 3 to power 3 is 9. Now 3 to power 2 is 3 3s are 9. So now that was the end goal, because I wanted. Now in this line number 26, what I am trying to do, I am giving a lambda expression where I am multiplying each value with 2. So that is basically to double the value. If I put 1 here, see guys, this is only the expression. You understand it, right? This is your what? Argument. Now x will be of x multiple time. So lambda is an anonymous function which is helping us. Now what is number? Number is something you will pass here. Okay, as I told you, here also it is the iterable. Okay, now the map function will apply all the value, like all the value this lambda function, whatever are there in the numbers list. Now this will come as a output, and again I am converted that output into a list, and then I am simply printing that. So it's a tricky one, guys. Let me run this piece of code for you, but this is very interesting also if you see, because we are using map. So map basically help to apply the condition to each element inside the lambda function which you are passing on here. So I hope this is pretty much clear. Let's move to the second higher order function, that is filter. So again, this is a complex one. So if you see, filter is a built-in function, as I told you, to filter element of a iterable based on a condition. Okay, so that's what the role which it applies here. Now again, I have given list here. Now I'm assigning a value even equal to list, because I want the output as a list. Then passing filter. In the upper example I gave map, then lambda, then the argument, and then this is the expression. And the function is what it is doing. It is only filtering the even values. So rest of the value will not come as a even value, which you define, like 1 is not a even value, 3 is not a even value, because the remainder will not be 0. Okay, so that's the logic we are applying as an expression here. So once you will pass this number here as a value, now it will pass 1 here, then 2 here, then 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see 2, 4 and 6 are your output. So this filter function basically help us to filter out only the condition which satisfy it. It takes 2 argument, a function and a iterable. The function is applied to each element of the iterable, which map was also doing, and only element for which the function returns true, that will be given as output. Now that's where the filter is useful, not like map. Map will give you the whole output. Now let me run this piece of code. So you can see in the output 2, 4 and 6 are there. Guys, don't worry, you will be getting this whole sheet in the GitHub account, so you can download it from there. Okay, don't worry, please download it, make sure you download it. Now let's move on to the other example where we will be talking about the reduce. Now reduce function is a part of func tool package. So you need to remember this, certain things you need to remember. Reduce is part of func tool, reduce is part of func tool, like that. Maybe remember, everybody have a different way to remember things. Now from func tool import reduce. If I remove this line, so you'll see immediately error. You can see this has been highlighted because it is not able, the system is not able to recognize this. Now Control Z I press and reduce is imported basically. Now what I'm doing, again a list I'm creating. Inside the list, what I'm trying to do, find the product of all number in a list. How we calculate the product? This is the expression. So I am passing an expression here, x multiplied by y. Now let's decode this. This is the value which you are assigning as an object to the whole function. Reduce, what reduce will do? The reduce function in Python is a part of the func tool, which I said, and it is used to apply a function cumulatively to the item of a iterable and reduce iterable to a single value. So it will give you a single value of that. Now how this will work? Lambda function, these are your arguments, x multiplied by y. So whenever you will pass the value, it will give you the multiplication of that. How you calculate the product? 4 multiplied by 3 is what? 4 3s are 12. Then 12 multiplied by 2 is 24. Then 24 multiplied by 1 is again 24 itself. That's how your output should be 24. Now, let me run this piece of code. And you can see your output is 24. Okay. On that note, let's move on to the last example for the day, which is going to be again very tricky, and I have given all these comments, okay, so you will be able to understand it very clearly. Just download this sheet for you. I actually worked on it for quite long to prepare this. Now, sort list of tuple by the second element, okay. Now I have created a tuple here. So inside this we have 3 tuples. You can see that small tuple. Now, sorted pair, I created a variable equal to sorted function I am using here. Then pair I am using here. What is pair? Pair is this value. Then key equal to lambda and then the expression and argument. What is this expression? Expression is talking about the indexing. Now I have given comments also. The key parameter. You can ask what is key? The key parameter expects a function that take one argument and return the value to sort it. Okay. This key function will give the value to this sort, so that it can sort out the value. It takes a tuple x as an input, as I told you, return the second element of the tuple. So for every tuple, it will return the second element to you. Now, if I run this piece of code, let's run this. So you have the sorted way. Okay, now how this is sorted? See the position of the tuple. 4 and 1 has come forward, then 2 and 2, then 1 and 3. So pretty much the data is sorted now. Okay. On that note, guys, I'm going to wrap up today's video. I hope you liked today's video. If you got understanding of the Lambda, I would really request you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, put your comment, and please support me so that I can prepare some amazing content like this, and I always support you guys. So please share this video with your friends and your colleagues if you like, and also put your comment in the comment section, whatever it is. If a feedback, I am always open to feedback. On that note, I will take your leave for the day. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video. All the best.